They call it India's first war of independence. What led them to start this type of revolution? The British oppressed the people of India socially, economically, politically. Hello, dear students. You are all CBSE students. Today I will discuss with you as per your NCERT syllabus. That is the topic 1857 rebellion. 1857 rebellion. It is the most important topic in your history part 3. So students, welcome to our Art Square classes. I am here with you all, Lalitendu, Professor of History, and going to deal with a most interesting topic, that is 1857 rebellion. As you know very well, India is such a land which was ruled by Afghans, Turkey, and English. During the English rule, which was started from 1757 to 1857, first phase, and 1857 to India attains the independence 1947. Altogether, British rule in India around 200 years. In between these 200 years, its ruling was very harass, corrupt practices, and many more hurdles for the Indians. At the first phase rule, from 1757 to 1857, British tortured the Indians from every angle. It may be social, economical, political, religious. In every sphere, India tortured. India was tortured by the British. And finally, when India couldn't tolerate the corrupt practices of British, started the revolution in the year 1857. And this uprising, we call it 1857 rebellion. And according to historians, many more authors, they call it as the India's first war of independence. That means Indians never started this type of rebellion earlier. So it is called as the India's first war of independence. It is called first war of independence as because the entire people of India took part in this revolution. So we call it is the first war of independence. And the entire people of India, they started this revolution for the sake of independence, because according to them, we are completely insufficient and we are tortured by the British oppression. Henceforth, we will not start to live in India under British control. So we want independence. We never want to be ruled by British. That is why they started this revolution. But the question is that, why did the people start the revolution after 100 years? Because British became the ruler of India in the year 1757. But the people started the revolution 1857, up exactly after 100 years. If the people tolerated the British oppressive rule for 100 years, why they start the revolution? What made them or what led them to start this type of revolution? And the answer is, the British oppressed the people of India socially, economically, politically, by which the people were intolerant. The people didn't have any courage or standard to tolerate the British harass policy, because British harassed the Indians in every angle. That is why the 1857 was on the road. So this revolution had its multi-phase, because there are so many causes associated with this rebellion. First one, social cause, political cause, economic cause, and the most vital cause is the military cause, for which the revolution was started. The revolution was started by the defense personnel, the military people of British Army. And the British Army, they revolted against the British. So this is a very interesting topic, and we will think that why did the British Army start the revolution against their master? They are getting the salary, they are getting every type of privilege, but why did they start? What made them to start this type of a revolution? And when the revolution came forward, the entire people, they joined together. Raja, Maharaja, Jamidar, common man, all the people, they were assembled together, and the revolution became a mass revolution. And where the international spirit, the internationalistic structure was completely on the road. When the entire people of India, they started this revolution, so it is nothing to achieve the independence and nothing more. And the entire people of India wanted to have the independence. So 1857 is called as the first war of independence. So in your syllabus, that is 1857 rebellion. Why 1857 rebellion was placed in history of India? Because it is the first war. The people started against the British. The British was completely troubled, because British was not experienced this type of revolution. And British government was bound to change the entire administrative structure in India. The Home Government of London, he was also frightened when they were experienced the mass struggle of Indians. The Indians, they raised this type of revolution to which they never dreamt of. The Indians never dreamt of that we can start this type of revolution. Yes, they did it. They achieved a lot. They trembled the British paramountcy in India, British Raj in India. They changed the administrative structure. So you think yourself, revolution can change everything. If we will determine to change anything in our surrounding, we must go on peace fast. We must go on peace fast. If peace is not understood, if peace is not evaluated, if peace is not counted, so revolution is the only path. By means of revolution, we can change everything. because revolution is just like a manifestation. Revolution is just like a manifestation, and it is listed the various demands of the people if they are not given by the rulers. The rulers, they were ruling according to their style. They never judged the sentiment of the people. And if the people will establish peace, what happened to them? Only harass. The ruler is to be called as a ruler if he will judge the sentiment of the people. That is why in our Veda, Vedanta, Rig Veda, everything there is written. A ruler is the father of the people. And if the father will not understand the sentiment of his children, he is not at all to be called as a king. So, the ruler and ruled, there must be a relation like father and children. And these things was lacked in British paramountcy or British dominion in India. The British government never understood the sentiment of the people. It was looting the wealth of India, whatever may be in Indian citizens. The only motto of the British is to loot the entire wealth of India. That is why they tortured in agricultural sector, in industrial sector, in social sector, religious sector, in everywhere British torture. And finally, they had to face a great rebellion, that is 1857 rebellion. If we narrate what happens to people of India for which they started a great revolution, and we will discuss in chronological way so that it becomes easier to understand and it can be recollected for all the time. First one, we will discuss the political structure of India. What was the political associations for which the people of India were bound to start this type of revolution? It is true to say that British, by winning in the Battle of Plassey, became the ruler of India. Britishers, before 1757, they were just like a traders, shopkeepers in India. And by the grace of God, from traders to ruler, they were shopkeepers, traders, and the situation and favorable wind for them, they become the ruler of India. They defeated Siraj-ud-Dowla in the Battle of Plassey in Bengal. And when they became victorious, they first started the English settlement in Bengal. In Bengal, the British administration was developed in past. So after the victory of Siraj-ud-Dowla, the Britishers became the master of this soil, and they intended the entire Hindustan should come under our control, because the home government of London, they were always demanding that we never want only Bengal, we only want the entire Hindustan should come under the British control. The entire provincial rulers to be defeated. You defeated the entire rulers. You defeat the entire rulers of India, and you become the ruler of India. So, one after another, British became victorious in the provincial sectors, and British became the ruler of entire Hindustan. For who is responsible? British or Indians? If we discuss in the deep-rooted value we can assure ourselves that British is not responsible to be the ruler of India. Rather, British was invited by Indians. British was invited by Indians to be the ruler. Because the Indians, their standard of living was in such a way, they were away from human civilization. When Lord Clive started war with Siraj-Dowlah, he had only very few number of army power. But Siraj-Dowlah had enough army power. But finally, Siraj-Dowlah was defeated. And British became astonished and happy that one state of India came under directly British control. And again British demanded that entire Hindustan should come under the British control. And Lord Clive wanted that how it is possible, because there were as many as 500 rulers in India. 500 rulers in India, Indian rulers, and they had enough army power. For an example, I am telling you, 50,000 elephants, more than 1 lakh horses, 30,000 soldiers, like this. But these kings, they were always fighting with themselves. All the Indian rulers, they were fighting with themselves as because to be supreme. They wanted to be higher than other king. That is why they were always fighting. And their fighting had a great miraculous effect on the British part. British thought that the kings didn't have any unity and integrity. The Indian kings were away from unity and integrity, as because they were always fighting with themselves. So, when they were fighting with themselves, it became easier for British to start war one after another. And they defeated one after another king. As because when British started a war with a king, the another king was standing and laughing because he was his enemy. He had no botheration. He had no botheration that an outsider is coming and fighting with my fellow king, my brother king. Rather, he is happy because he had no unity themselves. That is why the British started war one after another king and became victorious. That was the first political turmoil in India. So Indians' lack of unity and integrity invited the British to rule over India. And British started controlling the entire rule of India. And after Lord Clive, Warren Hastings, Cornwallis, many other Governor General came and became the ruler. And it was the period of Lord Wellesley, mind it. It was the period of Lord Wellesley. He was the guest imperialist. And according to British historian P.E. Revolt, P.E. Revolt. According to British historian P.E. Revolt, his statement is that Clive founded the British Empire in India. Warren Hastings gave a proper shape of administration in India. And here, Lord Wellesley, who extended the British Empire in India. Clive is the founder, Warren Hastings administrator, and Lord Wellesley, he was the imperialist who extended the territories one after another in India. And finally, the entire Hindustan came under control with the achievement of Lord Dalhousie. So only four persons were responsible for 200 rule of British in India. Number one, Lord Clive. Number two, Warren Hastings. Number three, Lord Wellesley. Number four, Lord Dalhousie. So these are the four personnel, English personnel, for which British started 200 rules in India. So it is about the administrative structure, and now we shall discuss how the British extended one after another kingdom, and it became a vital cause for the 1857 revolution. Lord Wellesley, he was very shrewd diplomat, and he was trained enough in London that you are going to India as Governor General. It is your first and foremost duty to control the entire Hindustan by defeating the kings one after another. So it was the suggestion from home government. And Lord Wellesley arrived in India as Governor General, and he observed everything, and he thought that I must have to war with the provincial rulers, those who are not accepting the British administration. They must be defeated by war. And whenever he looked the army power, he was frightened that the number of soldiers are very low. The number of soldiers are very few. How can I start with war with the Indian rulers, those who have enough army power? He requested the London government to dispatch immediately the army power so that I will attack the kingdom one after another. But the British categorically refused that we are unable to send the army power. How harassed. The man is standing at the battlefield, but there is no soldier. Is it possible to win the 500 rulers? No, nothing. And he was very diplomat. He told and he took the promise, without any war, I will defeat the entire kingdoms. Without any war, I will defeat the entire rulers of India. So, he pursued one of his policy. He invented one policy. By means of this policy, without any war, the Indian rulers surrendered before Lord Wellesley. The king, they came and indirectly told that we are surrendering before you, but there is no war. How it is possible? His policy is a very tremendous policy, most important policy, and we can write, and you have already knowing this, that is called subsidiary alliance. This is a policy. Subsidiary alliance. What is subsidiary alliance? The subsidiary alliance is a policy which was instituted by British. According to this policy, the British will provide the shelter, the help to Indians. British will provide help to Indian rulers. Lord Wellesley promised to defeat the entire kingdoms, to enter rulers at the left hand side. And right hand side, Lord Wellesley wanted to help the Indian rulers. It is a matter of astonishment. We cannot presume. We cannot anticipate hope. We think he is a madman. What he is thinking or what he is telling, it is absolutely at the dilemma. The thing is that Lord was very shrewd and diplomat. He knew that a great king, to whom we call a mighty king, he will not surrender and never. If he is a real king, he will tell that if you want to defeat me, fight me, kill me, take my kingdom. If he is a real king. If he is a strong king, a real king, he will invite his opponent, his enemy, to fight with me, defeat me, and become the master in my country. So there were number of kings like this. But Wellesley told that these kings are very dangerous for the British rule. They will not accept the British. They will not care the British because they are very strong, energetic, and they are always inviting us war. But British is not interested to start war with them because they have no army power. Lord Wellesley knew very well, whenever I will fight with the strong king, where is my soldier? There is no soldier. So how can I fight with the strong king? Rather, I must have to make friendship with him. Without friendship, I cannot take away his kingdom. So Lord Wellesley started a policy that is subsidiary alliance. And this is the policy. How it worked? First of all, he directed his people that you go on marching to the every nook and corner of India and tell me who are the powerful rulers and who are the weak rulers. So make a list first. Who are the powerful kings? Who are the weak kings? So the people listed the powerful kings and weak kings. And Lord Wellesley told that I don't have any connection with powerful king. And their condition will be understood later on. I must tie up with the weak rulers. So, diplomatically, he started maintaining relation with the weak rulers. And he invited these weak rulers and started conversation with them and asked them, what are your problems? The weak rulers, they told that we do not have any problem, but that king always fighting with us. That king means he was also the Indian king. And I have already told you, the kings, they didn't have any good relationship and they were always fighting. They were always fighting with themselves. That is why they didn't have any unity. So all the provincial rulers of India, all the Hindu kings, they were always fighting with them. These are the powerful rulers, these are the weak rulers. Powerful rulers were always defeating or looting the wealth of weak rulers. So the weak rulers were taking the moderation. Now they are telling to British that we don't have any problem, but that king is always disturbing us. So no problem. You don't worry for that. You don't worry for that. I am your friend. We will teach him a lesson. We will teach him a lesson. And the weak ruler, he became delighted that I have got a good friend and now I can defend that king. Because the weak ruler is no way connected with powerful ruler. So the weak ruler became the friend of British to fight with powerful ruler. And Lord Wellesley told that you will definitely win the powerful ruler. The weak ruler, he was astonished. How can it is possible? So I will make everything possible. So you have to agree to our proposal. And you have to sign a treaty. You have to sign a treaty with us so that we will help you. So I am ready to sign anything. But I want to defeat that king. He was in such a angry mood. So you tell us what you want. Who told? The weak ruler told to British. First of all, number one, the Lord Wellesley told to the weak ruler that you have to treat us as your ruler or as your caretaker. You have to treat us as your ruler. That means you must have to treat us as the king of your state. Now the king will treat another man as the king. And he will be the deputy king. And the real king is British. So the weak ruler immediately agreed that whatever it may be, I am the king for all the time. I want to defeat that ruler. In the next class, we will discuss elaborately. And dear students, I am telling you a most important thing, that by 14th March, in our institution, that is Art Square, very near to Ravi Talkies, the classes will be started March 14, CHSE class and CBSE class. So if you want the offline classes, you can join. And if you like this video, share it, comment it, and subscribe it. Thank you all.